The Leon Valley City Council is meeting tonight, and a vote of no confidence in Police Chief Joe Salvaggio could mean an end to his reign of terror. It all started last Monday. Salvaggio made this PowerPoint in response to Councilman Josh Stevens' agenda item to review police policies. Salvaggio, perhaps with a guilty conscience, made dozens of slides defending the police shakedown at city council meetings, even though that's not what the agenda item was even targeting. Under the new council's leadership, Salvaggio made the security process even worse. Okay, now they're gonna let us in. Yes, they're not gonna let us in.
Sir, is there a reason you aren't letting us in?
It's not open yet.
Why wouldn't it be open? What kind of stupidity is this?
We have a key, right?
I went in over there.
You serious? We should be waiting out in this weather? When have we before?
Should we check behind all the corners? Oh, no zombie there.
Actually, is this great? I actually thought it was a bit more sensible than this. Ridiculous.
Oh, he needs backup for you now, Eric.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Come.
They still don't understand who they work for.
Who is this guy?
Yeah, he's pretty, looks new.
Go ahead, sir.
Cheers.
Well, can you carry everything? Are you good? Are you good?
Serious?
Are you good?
This is so stupid. I have sample scissors.
What are they?
Cheers.
Craft sodas?
They're cheers from China. They're sample cheers.
Is this the airport?
What is the hell?
Good evening, sir. Keep moving.
I don't want to get in your way. How are you? Doing okay?
Doing all right.
Good to hear.
Okay.
Have a nice evening. That was Councilman Josh Stevens himself being harassed at the TSA security checkpoint. Fitting, I suppose, since the San Antonio Police Department put Salvaggio out to pasture at the airport during his last years there. Yet state law prohibits the city from banning such items at City Hall. But when has Salvaggio cared about the law or policy? Salvaggio's presentation misrepresented the law and included a bunch of sensationalism, painting him as the victim of YouTube viewers. He tried to cover up something there. Looks like Tuck Police suck and Johnny 5-0. Oh, and a comment calling him corrupt. He can't stand speech that is critical of government. Stevens fired off an email requesting that Salvaggio not present during the agenda item. After all, it is the council members' meeting, and they certainly have the right to direct their own meeting. Salvaggio immediately cried to the city manager, begging him to remove Stevens from the city council. And then Stevens responded with this: I would like to add the agenda item below to the city council meeting on January 19th, 2021. Discussion and possible action on a resolution deeming no confidence in the current police chief and declaration ceasing sponsorship of Texas Commission on Law Enforcement Peace Officer certification for current police chief. Wow, finally what the people are wanting. Remove the man responsible for so much destruction in Leon Valley. Stevens issued the following statement. Today I added a future agenda item seeking to declare no confidence in the current Leon Valley Police Chief and to cease sponsorship of his Texas Peace Officer certification. after requesting several police policies to review, our tyrannical police chief went on a tirade to take me out, weaponizing the Home Rule Charter against another duly elected official he politically disagrees with. Instead of providing the policies as Stevens requested, which they were set to discuss at the meeting last Tuesday night, the police chief threw a toddler tantrum whilst badgering the brand new interim city manager with his petty complaints. It is unacceptable for the police chief or any staff member to intentionally block Stevens from doing the job he was elected to do. It's a right to work state. The police chief is entitled to quit his job if he is not satisfied. For the police chief to again try using his position to take out another elected official is nothing less than oppression. It's disgusting, disturbing, anti-democratic, and un-American. Stevens said he will build a case against the police chief over the upcoming week. Our corrupt, oppressive police chief, who was terminated from the San Antonio Police Department after cheating on a promotional exam, continuing to use his authority to oppress elected officials, will not be tolerated. Hashtag new era of Leon Valley. People responded in support on Facebook. Daniel said that some don't think the laws apply to them. Good job, Mr. Josh Stevens. Randy said, long overdue. John said, get him out. He is the biggest problem in Leon Valley. And Eric Motta commented, Leon Valley spoke at the polls. Time to cut the cancer that is Joe Salvaggio. And hundreds of people liked the news when News Now Houston shared it on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to my other channel, Justin Pulliam Live, so you can watch the council meeting tonight to see what will happen to Chief Salvaggio. Let's check the agenda to see around what time it'll happen. Executive session about a parking lot, town hall meeting details, zoning permits. They usually put all the nanny state stuff at the beginning of the meeting and rarely get to the important business. Let's keep going. Let's see, we have countermanding ethics rulings, garage sale fees, interesting, junk to vehicles. Let's see here, police policies, city attorney. I don't see it here. I don't see it here. Wow, sure enough, Stevens removed it from the agenda. All hat and no cattle. The change we need, the voice we deserve. I'm so glad to have brilliant masters rambling on at meetings. Did the police union men scare him away the day after he issued his bold agenda item to vote no confidence in Salvaggio?
On behalf of the law enforcement officers across the state of Texas, I'm very concerned. I am very concerned about this particular agenda item. And Madam Mayor, I'll wait until council members Hefner and Stevens are available to pay attention.
I'm listening and taking notes.
I am.
Okay.
That's what
Thank
I'm doing
you.
too.
I am very concerned at the direction that this council is taking with this type of agenda.
And
Mayor,
yes,
my name's Easy, Mike
Okay.
Gomez.
Mike Gomez. Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Gomez. I got
And
that
I am
one.
also with the Texas Municipal
Yes,
Police
sir.
Association.
Uh-huh.
And we do represent over 30,000 police officers in the state of Texas. If you're going to go through with this in good faith, give us a seat at the table. Let's sit down and talk about this ordinance because it can be worked out. But the way it's going now, if you want media attention, it'll come. Okay? And that's not the type of stuff you want in the city. Have over one ordinance that...
You might have seen what happened to me at the council meeting after the election. Let's see if Stevens filmed what happened to me or even watched what all happened.
Got the statute right here.
Why do we like this all the time?
You can't be standing there.
I've got to film this meeting.
I'm taking you to the other room.
I've got to film the meeting. I have a right to do that. So no one is filming this meeting. I have a right to film
We're
it.
going to go outside.
I'd like to film this
We're going
meeting.
to go that way.
I'd like to
I'm going
film
to
this
tell you one more
meeting.
time, or else I'm going to.
I'd like to film this meeting.
Let's go outside.
I'd like to film this meeting.
And you can film it from outside.
How am I going to film a meeting from outside? That's asinine.
Huh?
What the hell is your issue?
No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm here to attend the meeting.
The
This is the
regulations
state.
here, they said that
You're not
You're
allowed to
gonna
make the
put any of
regulation.
You're not going to put anything down?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, regulations prohibit you from prohibiting me from carrying in here specifically. I've got the statute right
You
here.
need to step outside if you're not going to cooperate. That is our rules. Please step outside.
It's not actually even a rule, and
Sir, I'm
state
not going to
law.
argue the point. You can go outside and...
Please come outside.
What regulation is that again?
Sure.
This is the state law that says you can't do that. This is the state law that says you can't do that right here. You lost your qualified immunity.
Sir,
You've lost your qualified immunity.
from this point forward, you are criminally trespassed. If you do not leave the property, you will be arrested.
The thud you heard was when she slammed my back into the door. Stevens later chastised me for not going into the back with Azar and suggested that those dealing with police abuse in Leon Valley brought it upon themselves. Last week, Stevens rudely overruled the mayor to allow Blackmore to speak. But nothing was done to protect my rights.
Mr. Blackmore, I think I've asked you to leave, so I don't believe you can come back in and speak. Is that the rule? Is that what I understood? On the rules of decorum? I don't know. That's what I remembered.
I think that's you as the chair.
Yeah, I think, yeah, once I've asked you to leave the chambers, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to come back in. Yeah, that's the consequence to outbursts in this chambers. I'm sorry. Not going to have it this year. Okay, so anybody else? Yes, Mr. Hody.
You know what? Oh, can I
Go
just
ahead.
make a motion that
Yeah.
we just allow Mr. Blackmore to talk? I know that the rules may say that we can't, or, you know, I just...
At one point, Josh Stevens told me that there would be problems if I spoke on every agenda item at meetings. But he later backed down, telling me he didn't care how much I talked.
The other thing that I changed that was of value or substance is I changed the citizens to be heard time. I'll just read you kind of my suggestions and then you guys give me feedback. But members of the public have up to 5 minutes to speak with a 15-minute maximum time limit for any one meeting. Organizations who have at least 3 members present may speak for up to 15 minutes once during the meeting. The presiding officer may extend the time to speak on the officer's own initiative or at the request of a member of the governing body. So I kind of expanded it to do organizational presentations as well as, and actually as a framework I used the city of San Antonio. So I noticed they had one where you could do group presentations, and their time limit is 12 minutes total for the meeting because they have 3-minute citizens to be heard time allotments.
You mean 12 minutes that one person can speak
Can speak.
the entire city agenda?
Spread out through the meeting.
entire agenda?
Correct. So if they
Wow.
plan to speak
I
on
didn't
every
know-
agenda item, they would have to speak for 30, shorter amounts of time.
Oh, okay. I wonder
and-
how they monitor that. I mean, to me, that would be a little bit harder than just like 3 minutes per agenda item. That to me is easier than 12 minutes for the whole thing. Anyway, I'm just thinking outside.
Instead of listening to the people, I assume we will see Josh Salvaggio sitting down with the police union to develop new police policies together. Should the police make their own policies? After all, slaves with no knowledge shouldn't tell the police what to do. Well, except for that is Josh. He's an expert and he's allowed to have a say. The council could vote to lift the retaliatory trespass bans against YouTubers anytime they want. But perhaps it's easier for them if Texas Sheepdog and James Freeman can't attend and speak at meetings. It might not help politically to stand up for the rights of non-voters. After all, elections are coming up. Speaking of elections, Evan Boll is running for city council. Benny Martinez filed too, but the city secretary refuses to add him to the ballot. We'll hear more from Martinez later this year. Since Evan published his contact information, I was able to reach out to him for a statement.
Hi Justin, and thank you for reaching out to me asking me why it is I'm running for Leon Valley City Council Place 1. And it's because as a resident of Leon Valley for more than 25 years, I've witnessed personal political agendas create a lingering chaos in our city. And it is time to end those agendas, restore faith and hope in our government, to listen to the citizens and to the business of the citizens, but also to foster and build the peace we once had in our small city. I also understand the laws and ethical regulations that govern said position, and unfortunately, no one yet sits on the dais who has that understanding, who has the perspective to solve the problems that our city faces.
Personal political agendas. Evan's right. That's what caused the chaos. Is the current council going to be more of the same, or will they do what is right, regardless of feared political consequences? If you want to see change in Leon Valley, you probably have to be loud. But Josh Stevens goes to extravagant lengths to hide his phone number, even redacting it within the agenda packet. Maybe you can find a way to reach him. His defeated opponent, Catherine Rodriguez, will likely read the video comments that you leave below, but I doubt Josh will take any of them into consideration. I don't expect everything to be fixed overnight, but things either happen or they don't. They ran under Change Leon Valley, but where is the change? There should be some tangible progress by now. Sure, they did dissolve the Ethics Review Board, and I can see how that could be quite convenient for a sitting councilor, especially one who said he's facing ethics complaints at the state level.
Because we know that the political people are unhappy because they may have not won in the election, and they may not be happy with the new people that are trying to kind of get established. So my proposal would be to get rid of it right now, as the motion is for, and then
I have a question about the immediate costs. Is there some pending ethics investigation or action that needs to be taken by that body that's going to have an immediate cost to our city?
Well,
Councilor Stevens.
Thank you. What I can say is that there's a member of the community that loves to file complaints, and he immediately turned around and filed 4 complaints to the Ethics Commission on us. So, and it's not a big deal because the Texas Ethics Commission, unlike our commission, is very impartial.
Has the new council done much besides talk? The real reform seems to have run out of steam. Instead, we can expect hours of insignificant discussion about parks, stuff that should be referred to committee, and not even a Leon Valley park, but a City of San Antonio park project. You can't make this stuff up. The council experts are using public meeting resources to discuss San Antonio city business. And then they want to talk about filing a new lawsuit on a member of the public. It's clear to me that we can't expect the council to accomplish any real change on their own. Sensible, logical statism is what we can expect if they're left alone. We haven't seen much more than them protecting their own skin. On the agenda tonight, overturning the old politically motivated attacks on elected officials. But literally just their own. To heck if they are going to do anything to make right what happened to the real Benny Martinez. That isn't worth the political risk. Personnel is policy. If the law isn't compelling enough to the city administrators, then no new written policy will modify their behavior. The city administrators must go. Most or all of the police department should go. But I fear personal political ambitions will get in the way of making Leon Valley a better place. It's not that hard to get rid of Salvaggio. If the city manager won't fire Salvaggio, find a city manager who will. Or let Salvaggio be city manager and fire him directly. He would have walked away last month for only $150,000. It would have been better for everyone, but egos got in the way. My job is to report the truth about government, even if the truth isn't what I wanted. I consulted numerous people during the production of this video, which pushed it back way beyond schedule. I must continue to be hard-hitting, even if that means reports critical of people who I thought were my friends. But one thing is now clear to me. Josh Stevens is a politician, and he's not going to change Leon Valley unless you make him. Always record your government officials. Thank you for watching.
One for Donna Charles and one for Monica Officer. One's 93 pages, one's 94 pages. I have.
Sir, you have to turn the camera off or step outside.
The other officer said it was okay.
We're allowed to, Doc.
The supervisor
Who said
did.
that?
The other officer.
Joel told him, I already told him that he had to leave.
Joel already told him?
Yep.
No, the other officer.
As long as we leave the opening. Can y'all not block the entrance, please? Go ahead.